Welcome to Two Hearts Dance and Yoga's Heart to Heart video series. My name is Leanne Barber, owner and founder of Two Hearts Dance and Yoga, and it is my pleasure and honor to be able to share some light of inspiration with you all today. Sarah Schiewer is the owner of Hammer Performance Massage and Tech Ballet in Elkins Park, Pennsylvania. Sarah has over 18 years of experience in the professional dance field. She is a certified progressing ballet technique body conditioning prehab program, as well as a professional ballet student and professional dancer. She has spent her career surrounded by the help and support of massage therapists, PTs, and others in similar profession. Her sports massage skills are an integration of multiple treatments such as kinesio taping, deep tissue and recovery massage, cupping, gua sha, stretching, and assessment. Sarah is a certified ACE massage cupping therapist. She is fascinated by what the human body is capable of and is passionate about helping people overcome obstacles and reach their peak performance. With her dance background, Sarah is also the owner of Tech Ballet, a mobile and virtual ballet studio that incorporates mental wellness practices in each class. Additionally, she is the co-host of a new podcast called Dance Better, which will focus specifically on mental health in the dance sport and is available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify coming very soon. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Thank you for having me, Leanne.
Absolutely. Thank you for taking the time today and really just sharing all of the things that you're doing. Before we get into things, how has it been for you recently? Have you had to adjust your practice during this challenging time?
Well, yes, of course. Actually, I'm one of the few people in the world, I think, that started not one but two businesses right in the middle of the COVID pandemic. So it's been, as a business owner yourself, you know the stresses of that, and then it's been very interesting for sure. You know, massage therapists are already pretty fastidious with their cleaning procedures and things like that from a logistical standpoint. But of course, we've had to add, you know, the mask wearing, taking temperatures before each appointment, making sure my regular clients have to sign a COVID waiver every 2 weeks to ensure that nothing has changed with their health status. So there's definitely some logistical things that have changed. But as far as my physical practice goes, it's pretty much the same. So that's been good.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
With us, I think in kind of the massage world, there has been just a big adjustment with people making sure you're sticking to the protocol and
Right.
so people feel comfortable. So I can imagine that it's been a little bit of a shift for you as well.
Yeah. Yeah, there's been a few things, you know, we've had to add into our daily routine, but definitely not anything that's not manageable. And yeah, so it's so far so good. You know, just like everybody else in every other industry, we just have to take it one day at a time, 1 week at a time. Things are always changing. So, you know, I'm just kind of trying to stay present, stay in the moment, and enjoy what I have right now. So it's good.
Thank you. Well, let's shift gears a little bit. Would love to hear about your background and kind of how you discovered dance in the first place. Can you share that with us?
So I am a ballet baby. My parents put me in ballet when I was like 2 or 3, I think. And I think I started telling people I wanted to be a professional dancer when I was like maybe 5. And everyone thought that was really cute, of course, you know, until, you know, I got to be like 9, 10, 11, and it didn't change. And so I really had a sit down conversation with my parents when I was about 12. And I said, look, I really, really want to be a professional dancer. And at the time I was studying at an amazing neighborhood studio that kind of had a little bit of everything. I had a wonderful first ballet teacher who really sparked the passion for me, I think. She was a wonderful technician as well, but she was a really, really great at like developing the creative side of the artist. And so I, you know, was with her until I was 12. And then I was lucky enough to live nearby Butler University, and they had an adjunct academy. So I enrolled there when I was about 12 years old and started my pre-professional training. So I graduated from high school, and I was lucky enough to receive an apprenticeship with North Carolina Dance Theater, which is now Charlotte Ballet. So I was there for about a year, and then during that time, my parents actually moved overseas, and I had the opportunity to visit them and eventually move to Austria, where I stayed for 6 years. And I was really, really lucky to receive several contracts with the Opera House there and some other kind of independent choreographers and that sort of thing. So that's sort of my professional career in a nutshell. So, and then I moved back to the United States because I decided that I'd like to go back to college and kind of pursue some other things. So, yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that with us. That's such a, well-rounded background in ballet. And I love that you had that dream as a little girl. And many of us have that dream of, wanting to be a professional dancer or a professional athlete, whatever it is. And you stayed with the path and you kept going, which is really
I
amazing.
did. Yeah.
Sarah, can you tell us like some of the, maybe early challenges that you might have had as a
Sure.
dancer?
Yeah. So part of the reason why my parents, specifically my mom, I think, decided to try ballet was that I would sleep in the splits. So from a very young age, I was hypermobile. So I probably just have super long ligaments in my hips. So I was very bendy. And so, of course, that was viewed as an asset, as a classical ballet dancer. But because of that hypermobility, I had a lot of instability. And so I had a lot of injuries growing up. I had some Osgood slaughters, followed by several ankle sprains. I had the dreaded ostrigonum surgery when I was 18, so which many of us have had, and I had a wonderful surgeon, so he basically gave me my career back, so that was great. But the whole time was really, I can't remember too many times when I wasn't injured in some way, shape, or form. So that for sure was a huge challenge for me, both mentally and, psychologically and physically. So, of course, I saw a lot of physical therapists and massage therapists and later on chiropractors and things like that. So that's kind of where my interest in massage therapy started, was just learning about the physiology of the body and how that pertains to my ballet training and how I can modify that, to help myself to feel better. So yeah, it's kind of all been full circle.
Really, like you took those challenges of getting injured and kind of
Yeah.
wanted to pursue of how you can help others who might be injured through dance or through just being.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to hear that you were injured.
I mean, and it's so common. I think a lot of people can identify that. I think it's actually more rare to find someone who isn't injured all the time or dealing with pain of some sort. But I think along with that, there's a lot of psychological, mental wellness related challenges that come along with that. Both that are rooted in the individual, but also that are, rooted in our dance culture. So that was also, something that I wasn't alone in struggling with, for sure.
Absolutely. And again, thank
Yeah.
you. I have many dancers and athletes who, are working through different alternatives to try to kind of rehab their injuries. So it's great to kind of segue into the next question here, which you kind of already answered a little bit. But since you are the creator of Hammer Performance Massage, I guess tell us how that became about and what steps you took to continue into that path.
Sure. So, like I said before, massage has always sort of been around since I was, a teenager. And as I got older and, started to realize that my performing career was coming to an end, I did start teaching when I really started teaching when I was about 18, shadowing, teachers at my school and helping out and things like that. But as I got into teaching more seriously, I started seeing the same issues with my students that I had and things like that. And massage therapy just sort of was like this little, Oprah says if you get like a little voice in your head to try something, you get a little nudge to follow it. And I kind of ignored it for a while. And I had graduated from college. I was working in a corporate company. It was actually a dancewear company, which was pretty cool. But, it just wasn't right for me. And I just kept like struggling with, okay, well, then what is right? What should I do? And so I decided to go back to school. I went to massage school, and it really, really fulfilled that space for me. So after I graduated, the school that I went to, my diploma was specifically focused on sports and medical massage. So we did a really intensive anatomy and physiology course along with our massage techniques and things like that. So that, of course, like refired my passion for all of that in dance. So I decided to, try working as a massage therapist. I did that for about 3 years, and it was really fulfilling and I loved it, but I really wanted to narrow my focus to athletes and dancers. And, I was forced to take 3 months off, as most of us were, sometimes more. And during that time, it was just a really intense time of self-reflection on my career and what I wanted to offer. So I decided to start looking, for places, and Elkins Park Fitness decided that they needed a massage therapist. And so it was kind of, an amazing, synchronicity moment, I think, that they were looking for someone and I was looking for a space that was, really focused on athletes and movers of all kinds. So it just sort of happened, and it's been wonderful. It's been really great.
Wonderful. Happy to hear that. It's like sometimes I love how you mentioned Oprah and like little
Yeah.
taking the next step and knowing that there's something in the back of your head that's telling you to do this.
Yes, don't ignore it, because eventually it won't be a little voice any longer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your kind of organic transition into the performance massage world. What might have been some of the challenges that you faced in starting your own business?
Well, let me tell you, we're here in Pennsylvania, and I'm sure every state has this, but in Pennsylvania, they have the Small Business Association, and they have some amazing resources for new business owners or prospective business owners. And they basically held my hand through the entire process, opening my LLC, making sure my insurance coverage was, appropriate. They even have a free legal service through Temple University to check out, your documents and things like that. So honestly, without that, I don't know if we would be sitting here talking about my business. So, it's definitely a big learning curve, but it's been very rewarding, and I have new challenges every day. They say as a small business owner, you don't just provide your service, that's the last thing you do at the end of the day. You do your marketing, your business planning, your financials, like there's so many components that go into it. And I'm just really, really grateful for the resources that the Small Business Association provides. So if anybody out there is interested in opening a business, I highly recommend you go to your state Small Business Association, because it's been immensely helpful. So
thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Things like that really provide the resources for small business owners, because a lot of the times it's like you don't really know where to start. That
Yes.
this passion, and you want to pursue doing that, but like you said, there's so many different elements that go into owning a business, and having those so helpful. So thank you for sharing that and kind of telling us how you started. So going back to your business, can you tell us a little bit more about the techniques and treatment services that you provide?
Yeah, absolutely. So sports massage, I have a little article on my website that I'll share with you later. I have a little blog article, and it's is sports massage for me? Because often find that there's a lot of misconceptions around sports massage and a lot of confusion around it. A lot of times someone will say to me, oh, I want a sports massage, but really they just feel like they need deeper pressure. And it has nothing to do with any type of athletic endeavor. So sports massage specifically takes someone who is training for a specific purpose. So it could be your pre-professional or professional dancer. It could be someone who's training for a 5K, for their first 5K, who maybe isn't in top Olympic shape, but they are training for a specific purpose. It could be someone who is just really active, who prioritizes activity, who does spin class a few times a week and Pilates a few times a week and yoga, So it could really be any level of athletic training. It doesn't have to be, the top elite, Michael Phelps type athlete. So really, the tagline for my business is massage for movers, because you don't have to be an elite athlete to benefit from sports massage. So having said that, I usually do a pretty intense intake with my clients before their first session, just to make sure they're signing up for the correct services and also the correct amount of time for their appointment to address what their goals are. So we do an assessment of all of their activities and their side dominance. So if they're a golfer, are they left-handed or right-handed, how they're swinging. And so we do a pretty deep analysis on the types of moves that they're doing, what their goals are, whether it's to increase performance, flexibility, range of motion, or reduce pain are usually the four big ones. So each session is tailored specifically to that person, with the intent of accomplishing their goals in relationship to their activity. So that's kind of, in a nutshell, what sports massage is. It's very intentional and focused. Now, that doesn't mean you can't come to me for a recovery massage, because oftentimes a full body recovery massage is what your body needs to engage the nervous system so that it can balance itself, calm down, and heal muscle tissue and things like that. So that can also be part of a sports massage. It just kind of depends, again, on what your goals are, where you're at in your training period, and what the needs are.
Awesome. Thank you. To us and all the different kind of facets that you provide. Wonderful, wonderful to hear about, and so excited to be able to share this with the community. And if anyone needs that work, very happy to be able to share with us here. So I'm going to shift gears just a little bit to come back to your dance experience. As a well, it kind of combines both, but as a dancer, how have you been able to combine some of these techniques for performance in your dance background and to help your dance clients in particular?
Yes. So again, it all comes down to goals. And I feel like most dancers that I come in contact with, we have a pretty good awareness of our bodies and an understanding of our muscles and what our needs are, what our goals are. So I just want to make sure that the goals are realistic for what I can provide, that it's within my scope of practice. So as massage therapists, we cannot diagnose anything. We can't prescribe exercises or anything like that. We can, make suggestions. Oh, you might want to try this stretch or that, or check your turnout and your demi-plie, or, so I can sort of integrate those things, especially being a ballet coach as well. But so just making sure the expectations stay within my scope of practice, number one. Number two, making sure the self-care routine is appropriate for the goals as well. So making sure dancers are hydrating properly, and have realistic goals, especially, I keep coming around to that, for range of motion training, which is different from flexibility. Most people put them in the same basket, but they are not the same. So most dancers, especially younger professionals or older pre-professionals, will come to me and say, oh, well, I need to get my extensions higher. So make me relax, fix it. So a lot of times, yes, it's understanding the balance between stretching and strengthening when it's appropriate, and to make sure all of those things are coming together in a safe way. So I would say also, you know, obviously with injury recovery, post-HAB, you could call it even, once somebody's sort of graduated from physical therapy, but still needs some soft tissue work for scar tissue and things like that. I see a lot of that as well. And that's a lot of times that's when the cupping and the gua sha techniques can be really effective as well. But yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I love how you kept coming back to realistic, because as dancers and performers, we kind of always are shooting to either get the highest extension or shooting to do the most turns, or, you know, really provide our audience with like a wow factor. But it's so
Yes.
important to be realistic about your goals and to
Right.
come into something, you know, knowing that it does take small steps to get into whatever, you know, whatever you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Completely transparent and realistic about it is so important. So thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell us more about Tech Ballet and what you're offering through your dance coaching.
Sure, absolutely. So, like many of us, I have spent my entire teaching career in the traditional studio setting, where you have anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half to teach a technique class, maybe throw in some choreography to get students ready for a show. And it's pretty rushed. There's not a lot of breaks between classes, and you're pretty limited on what you can offer your students. Any outside of those, you know, constraints of, you know, technique class and choreography. And again, during COVID, lots of self-reflection, lots of learning about myself, and starting to feel like I have always known that there's something missing from the traditional classical ballet class, whether it's for pre-professional students or students who are pre-professional in other dance styles, but that like to take ballet, or even for your hobby enthusiast as well. For example, the adults. I love teaching adults. But I've always felt like there's something missing from the traditional ballet class. A lot of things, I know that I experienced a lot of anxiety growing up in the dance space. A lot of imposter syndrome. That's a big one for me, number one on my forehead. And just a lot of barriers to success, and just trying to get back to the passion for ballet. So that first teacher that I had, I'm going to call her out. Her name's Sue Van Boris. She's on Facebook. Follow her. She's amazing. She's wonderful. But just going back to that, you know, 5-6-year-old self and learning first position and feeling the demi-plie and feeling that the feeling of accomplishment when you get your first clean single pirouette. And so kind of like trying to combine these two ideas into one class. So all of my classes, even with my littles starting at 4 years old, we start with some deep breathing exercises. So we learn how to do, you know, deep breathing that is incorporated then in movement. And then sometimes we do a body scan meditation, so only about 2 or 3 minutes, just to kind of get into our bodies. Where are we feeling today, both emotionally and physically? And then we kind of move on from there. We do a couple of little conditioning style exercises. Could be from, you know, progressing ballet technique, or it's just as simple as like a plank and a dead bug exercise or something like that. And then, of course, we move into the meat of the ballet class, your bar work and your center work. But throughout the class, we make sure that we're incorporating breath, which is something that I didn't really figure out until I was about 20. So trying to start from a young age of at least having the understanding of how breath can help you in your choreography, and in your performance, and in your, you know, anxiety levels, if you have any of that going on, just how that all sort of plays together. We also get a daily affirmation in every class. And so we say it out loud, eyes open or closed optional. And then at the end of class, each student gets a digital journal every week. So currently all of my clients that I have right now are just once a week. So it's really more of an addition to your regular, like intensive training. So you get a digital journal, and depending on the age level, that could include, it always includes your daily affirmation at the top, just to remind you so that you can kind of place your thoughts on it. There's a space for a great gratitude journal. So list 3 things, very simple, doesn't have to be dance related, that you're grateful for. And then the next section talks about positive feedback. So feedback you're getting from your teacher, and how you're going to plan on applying that. And then we have a SMART, SMART Goals worksheet that we fill out once a month. So we pick one dance goal that we would like to accomplish, and we break it down into those little pieces so that it's accomplishable, if that's a word. And then your digital journal might also include a couple of vocabulary review questions of maybe a new step you learned, or, for my younger students, just new vocabulary, and plie means to bend, and, things like that. And then at the end, we have a little bit of an artistic exercise where there could be, I don't know, like a video of a variation perhaps, and then a space for you to be the dance critic. So my younger ones, they just have to pick out a few steps that they already know from class that are in the variation, up into, the older students, who have more experience with creative writing and really doing an analysis of the variation or the piece of choreography. So really trying to incorporate a little bit of dance history, a little bit of artistic critical thinking, body awareness, mind awareness. It's just really everything in one little digital journal. So yeah, I would say that's probably the piece of my business, this side of my business, that I'm most proud of, because it's really helping people who learn in all different ways, visual, kinesthetic, all of those different types of learning styles sort of all balled into one amazing program.
I have to give you a round of applause because that is amazing. You're incorporating that kind of mindfulness, the wellness, and really getting students to think outside of just the movement, like setting intentions and really creating the space to do that. So I love it very much. And going back to kind of the breathing, that is like the exact reason why I started yoga. In college, my dance professor, and I'll shout her out too, Giselle Mason. She always told me, in modern dance, you have to connect your breath with your movement, or you're not going to get your intention, your point across as a dancer. And that's exactly why I started going to yoga, because I wasn't getting that. I guess so much in my regular dance classes, you're not taught to breathe as much. I mean, maybe in contemporary and things like that, where I learned to do that, but really incorporating the breath into your movement is so important, especially at a young age. Like you said, I learned that in my 20s as well, and I wish I had learned that at a younger age. So you're providing for someone to learn that as they continue their dance career from a young age. So yay! I'm so excited.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. And Sarah, just to kind of conclude our conversation here, what is in the future for you and your business and your brand?
Well, I also am starting a podcast, which is sort of related to everything that we're talking about, with my good friend and former colleague from massage school, Courtney Ulrich. She's actually in Indiana, and she's also a massage therapist and a former pre-professional student. So we're starting a mental health podcast for dancers. So that's coming. The trailer is releasing this Friday. So that's very exciting. It's going to be called Dance Better. And we'll give you all that information as well at the end here. But so that's kind of a big piece too, moving forward with both of my businesses. But I think long term, the dream, obviously, it's obvious to me now, is to have a space that is a dance wellness collective. So one day I'd love to have more of a traditional ballet studio and bringing in other types of dance as well, but also all within this umbrella of mental wellness and making sure that our students are well taken care of, mind, body, and soul, and not just body, and really raising the next generation of dancers to connect to their bodies, to have some agency over their body, and to not accept some things that you and I probably were told as children that you have to accept in order to participate in the dance space. That isn't true. So just really, really dreaming of raising that next generation of dancer to be more independent and stand up for themselves and stand up for their health. So, you know, having a traditional dance studio with a little massage studio next to it or connected inside a little treatment room really would be a huge, huge dream for me. Something else that I'd love to do one day that I know you and I have talked about before is providing a dance retreat for, you know, maybe dancers who are right in the middle of their career or towards the end of their career, and providing resources to help them transition into the next phase of their lives. You know, dancers' identity is their occupation, and that can often be a little bit tricky to navigate when that occupation has to come to an end. So I'd love one day to be able to provide a sort of retreat for yoga, mindfulness, wellness practices, massage, and then connecting those people with resources in their area to help them to transition. So that's another big dream that I have in the pipeline. So it's very exciting.
Yes, and I'm so excited for you. It seems like you have all of these different culminations of ideas and things coming together to achieve that dream. So you're well on your way, sister.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You'll be able to collaborate on all of these things. I look forward to sharing your information. I will link everything out below the video so that people can make sure that they are taking advantage of everything that you just told us about. But Sarah, can you tell us the websites where people can learn more about massage, where people can learn more about Tech Ballet?
Yeah, so okay, so I'll start with Instagram because I feel like that's a nice place for everyone to sort of start. I have Instagram for my massage practice is Hammer Performance Massage, excuse me, all together, Hammer Performance Massage, Hammer like the tool, which is my maiden name, where that comes from. And then my website is hpmphilly.com. And then for Tech Ballet on Instagram, it's just at Tech, T-E-C-H Ballet. And my website is techballet.org, O-R-G. And lastly, our podcast, Dance Better, is at Dance Better Podcast on Instagram. And the trailer for that is dropping this Friday with our first guest the following Friday, I believe. And he is a very, very exciting guest. I won't ruin anything or give any spoilers, but he's a very, very exciting guest for us to have from the mental health field. And that, again, is at Dance Better Podcast. And yeah, I think that's everything.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
So many things.
Make sure to provide all of that information so people can click on and stay in contact with you. And Sarah, on behalf of Two Hearts Dance and Yoga, thank you so much for taking the time and just sharing all of your awesome things with us, whether it's dance, massage, podcasts. We're following you and we're looking forward to seeing all the great things that you have.
Well, thank you so much. And I just want to take this opportunity to thank you as well. I follow you on Instagram and I see all the wonderful things you're doing in the community, from your charity work to just providing a safe and secure place for your dancers to develop as artists. That's just such a gift that you're giving the dance world. And I'm really grateful for you. So thank you.
I appreciate it. And I look forward to working together in the future. You are just wonderful.
Thank you.